anything that Larry Fink's involved with, you should not trust.
I agree with this. Year has been such a paradox of Bitcoiners being like, well, the state rolling out the red carpet for Bitcoin, and I really think crypto, but I think that they need crypto stablecoins. They want them. I think those are the rails of surveillance.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
And so I think Bitcoin has to appreciate in value to sustain the narrative that crypto is here to stay. So I think if Bitcoin goes to zero, you don't really have...
You've demoralized the people who you want to believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they're like, okay, fine. It's a bridge to crypto, and then hopefully they neuter or turn Bitcoin into digital bedrock or digital gold, right? Because gold hasn't really taken down the central bankers or fractional reserve banking. We're no longer tethered to gold. They don't have to tether to Bitcoin.
Well, speaking of Tether's doing shit that I think is very problematic.
I don't think Tether is necessarily a white hat. I don't at all. I think they're controlled.
Tether's buying shit that I don't think they should be buying if you want to call it a stable coin.
I'm not arguing with you. I'm not here to defend Tether. I find it very interesting and odd that a lot of Bitcoiners are very Tether proponents. I think early on, you needed stable coins to access Bitcoin. You don't, or I shouldn't say need. There were people who used stable coins a lot more. I don't think you need it now, but I do think the traditional Wall Street bankers are pushing everyone towards stable coins.
Right.
And I think that will be what's in your checking account in the future.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
So
that's a central bank digital currency.
Yeah. And yeah.
Well, I think that's authoritarianism in the making right there.
Sure. I agree.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that I think Bitcoin is authoritarianism in the making.
No, I just
I think it's like I feel like it's like a freedom tool, the way like a satellite or.
I think the freedom part is delusional. I think the freedom part is delusional.
I think a freedom tool doesn't mean absolute freedom. It incrementally improves your freedom.
No. It's whatever freedom they want to give you, I think.
Well, they could still bring guns to you and put you in a box. I get that.
Right. Or they could say you can't. What did I just say? I heard the EU was capping a Bitcoin transaction you can do. I just read that the other day.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay, but the point being is I think the brilliant play. Here's a narrative that I have no idea if it's true or not, but the NSA comes out and writes a paper on crypto, and then you promote crypto, and you crowdsource debugging the damn thing. You crowdsource the exit ramps, the on ramps, the enthusiasm, the how do you trade it, what are the defects in the thinking, how do you do this? And for 20 years, the smartest guys in the goddamn world troubleshoot how to do this. And then they say, thank you very much, we'll take it from here. How do you not worry about that?
Well, take it from here in terms of, how do you just...
The transition from you being in control of your Bitcoin to them saying, we'll take it from here. That transition is
yeah, I think they're going to tell you that it's nuclear grade technology. You shouldn't hold it as an individual. It's too valuable. It's too dangerous. It's a nation state level.
Right. So the question will be, do the guys who have Bitcoin when that transition occurs?
Yeah.
That's right. If you get to keep it and it maintains value.
I don't know how much you'll be able to interact in a circular economy, but if you are able to keep it, whether that's KYC Bitcoin or non-KYC or KYC free Bitcoin, and you might have to go off grid or whatever it takes.
Are there several different kinds of Bitcoin?
Well, no, there's not several different kinds of Bitcoin, but if you buy Bitcoin on an exchange, they know you have it. If you buy Bitcoin with cash, they don't know you have it.
How do you buy Bitcoin with cash? I don't even know how you do that.
You meet someone in a cafe,
Oh, okay, but they're trying to get rid of cash, so that game's going to end.
There's other ways to buy it. There's other ways to buy it without going through KYC procedures.
Right, but once we're fully digital.
Right. Well, I get what you're saying. I'm saying you still, no, even if they can't debase it, they can't inflate it. So you still get certain properties, right? That wouldn't go away if...
Isn't there some rule about how the Bitcoin community decides whether you could expand the number of Bitcoins? Isn't it? Tell me about that.
Well, the way I would think about that is sort of the network effect of protocol. It's like you could change the rules of chess. That doesn't mean anyone's going to play with you or acknowledge you as the winner of or be the best player in the world because you beat everyone with your rules.
Okay, the
So
question is,
you could say,
why
hey, I got
would...
Bitcoin over here? No one's going to actually interact with you. No one's going to value it. There's going to be no network security, no miners.
Well, what's going to keep the authorities when it really is?
I think there are going to be challenges. I think that there will be institutions like BlackRock and Coinbase that say, look, we have so much Bitcoin. We want to try to change the consensus rules. We are now the new Bitcoin is institutional Bitcoin, and it'll be confusing. And there will be debates around what is the real Bitcoin, who has the real Bitcoin, but like the longest chain.
So you don't think that these guys are smart enough to figure out how to debase it?
Well, I think you could look at affinity scams as a form of debasement, right? Or anyone who's FTX who's not selling Bitcoin, but their customers think they're buying Bitcoin. That's debasing in the sense that people thought they were allocating funds to Bitcoin, and it didn't go into Bitcoin, and they don't have Bitcoin. You can sell futures on Bitcoin, and you can use that. Like gold's been manipulated heavily.
So you're describing fractional reserve Bitcoin.
Fractional reserve Bitcoin, but again, that doesn't affect your Bitcoin in self-custody. And that might affect the exchange rate between if you were to sell your Bitcoin, right? And so this gets into, because I'm not a never sell your Bitcoin person in the sense that like you should use Bitcoin as money. So if like you have a wedding coming up or a life event, or any time you would use your savings or any money that you would normally have in your checking account, that's money. Whether you're
here's a problem. I don't think they've enforced this, but my understanding is every time you use Bitcoin for anything, it is a taxable event.
Right, and I don't think America is going to ever take that away because they're not going to treat it like money, right? That's part of it. They're not going to treat it like money. They're not going to.
So it's an asset, not money. It's an asset, not money.
In the legal and the tax sense.
Gold, by the way, is an asset, not money, too. The guys who say gold is money are delusional.
That doesn't mean you can't go exchange gold or Bitcoin with another person, peer-to-peer, and use it as money. It doesn't mean that it's money.
Well, in theory, though, if you buy their car from them, in theory, that's a taxable event.
Right, but you'd have to do this sort of, without letting them know.
Okay, so now you're sitting there. Now you have to break the law to use Bitcoin.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I agree with you. These are all limiting factors around it becoming used more frequently as money. Right? And I do think that if they maintain the unit of account, right, just like with the petrodollar, just like before that with tying it to gold, if you price everything in dollars, including Bitcoin, then the dollar lives on.
Right, absolutely.
Right? You sell the debt, and everything is denominated in dollars still. Right. And so you need people to hold Bitcoin in self-custody and even think in Bitcoin denominated terms because it's a better tool as a denominator. But that doesn't, you can't, that's an emergent property though.
This is why gold bugs who talk about denominating things in gold are delusional.
Right, but I mean, you could do it for yourself because you could say that's my unit of account when I trade with others. Right. That doesn't mean you're going to get other people to do it. But the fact is, your groceries
are going to be denominated in dollars.
Well, you could do the math. It just makes the math very complicated to do. Like you could see, like even people who live in Bitcoin, when they go to gamble online, they'll gamble in $20 denominated, even if they put Bitcoin on the website.
Right, but again, if you're going to buy that's why I said if you're going to buy a house a year from now,
but you've got in Bitcoin.
Well, but if you're thinking of, let me point out,
$400,000 house costs 400 Bitcoin.
Okay, let me point out the obvious thing, though. Now let me point out the obvious. You want to buy a house a year from now. You put it in Bitcoin. You don't know that you'll be able to buy that house.
Well, you have volatility, yes. You have potential for high volatility.
But
it's usually net positive over long periods of time.
It has been historically.
Yeah. But I was more getting into not so much the bet or the speculation, but sort of, if the state is involved in any way, I don't think that negates sort of, you can't debase it, you can't inflate it away, you have to work for it, you have to either hash for it or buy it. So you have to either work for it or inherit it, someone else's work for it. And you can still hopefully trade outside of the traditional economy, peer-to-peer.
So if some guy wants to sell you a house and says, it's going to cost you 4 Bitcoin a year from now.
You might have to convert.
Then you denominate it in Bitcoin.
Sure.
If someone says it's going to be $400,000,
You've denominated in dollars.
If you park your wealth in Bitcoin, you may buy that house a year from now with room to spare, or you may not be able to buy it.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
And therefore, if you're married and your wife says, I want that fucking house, right? I want that fucking house. You fuck this up, I'm divorcing your ass. You're going to put it in a CD.
Yeah, Bitcoiners, we all live this life. And look, I mean, you'd live that life. Everyone is trying to manage their wealth outside. If they're lucky to build wealth outside of their vacation, enough to store, it's like, what the hell am I going to do with this thing? Because I can't keep it in dollars. So we all have to figure out like some sort of way to shepherd that value forward, whether it's gold, metals, equities, real estate, bonds. You just CDs even. So
the other thing I think a way to think about this is they talk about new ideas in science. They take hold through the deaths of the guys who held the old ideas, through the attrition of the old guard. So it's quite possible that the boomers collectively are not going to ever sign off on Bitcoin, and that as they die off, Bitcoin gets stronger.
When it comes to Bitcoin, the rules are simple. Run your own node, hold your own keys, and protect your seed phrase. That's where MicroSeed comes in. Unlike bulky backups, MicroSeed is stamped onto a tiny steel washer. Fireproof, waterproof, and so small you can carry it anywhere or hide it in plain sight. Go to microseed.io and use the code MATRIX for a discount on your order.